Hello everybody, this is Tanya Kotlowski. I am the superintendent for Necedah Area School District, and welcome to our one of a three-part series regarding our budget information. I'll be sharing some information from a historical perspective, from a current perspective, and from a projected financial perspective. So I'm hoping that the next 3 weeks I'll provide about 10 minutes of information that'll help you be brought up to speed and where everything is at. I feel this information is really important, especially right now because we just passed our operational referendum, and this is a way for me to stay accountable with our school community and to provide detailed information regarding our financial status and our future projections. So I'm hoping that you can see my screen right now. I'm going to be sharing some information. Lindsay Abel is our business manager. She has also been, of course, a part of putting together our budget for 22-23. We held our annual meeting, and so we are now finalizing budget with the new certification numbers. The information I'm sharing today is actually updated from our annual meeting. So if you were at our annual meeting, this information will be updated because we were able to certify student count, valuations, and equalization aid since the time of the budget meeting. So thank you for spending a little time, and here we go. Part of the work of creating a budget is really thinking about some of our priorities. The school board is responsible for accepting, approving the budget. So they are the authority in terms of how the budget is passed. So these are our board members, Dan Duchek, Tom Winters, Mike Horak, Roger Harriet, and John Ard. So they have been on the board for a little bit now and do a really nice job, and I'm going to share some of that information with you to know some of the work that they've done. So as we think about the last 4 years, we've been under an operational referenda since April of 18. The previous year, 17, an operational referendum failed, and it forced the district to make several reductions, including a special education, in the area of special education, in the area of family consumer education, sort of that home economics class that most of us remember in high school. We cut business courses, and we made other general cuts in other areas, but it really cut programming. And so as a result of that, we've done some things to sort of mitigate some of that impact to our kids. But in general, it did have some pretty big impact on programming here at Necedah Area School District. Part of the reason with those choices of the reductions that were made is simply because we, whenever we have to make, kind of some adjustments to meet the deficit budget that we're faced with, it's going to be in areas that are not required. So elective classes typically are something that goes right away because they're not required in terms of graduation requirements in the state of Wisconsin. So those are areas that end up going. Since then, we have put in some other things in terms of addressing some of those student needs, which I'll talk about a little later. So these are some of the things that our board has done. We were able to refinance a loan that we had in order to do some building updates in 2015. We underspent our authority for 2 different years, I think about to $150,000. We underspent, meaning we underlevied. We had the authority to levy that amount and we did not. We've also been advocating heavily for some additional revenue streams that would help our Necedah district. Every district is funded with the same calculations, but funded differently based on the wealth of property in a school district. So we've been advocating on behalf of our circumstances to try to get some things moving forward at the state level. We have redesigned our post-retirement benefits for our teachers and administrators. We have saved the district about $900,000 in redesigning that benefit. We also have been trying to responsibly fund capital projects through what's called Fund 46. So we have a small savings in Fund 46 that will allow us to prepare for some things. Of course, the only way to contribute to that fund on a yearly basis is through savings that year. So as a balanced budget is presented, we need to find savings to put into that fund at the end of the year. We've also tried really hard to put some contributions into fund balance because we are looking at it. We looked at a deficit budget for several years out, meaning that we were unable to balance the budget without making reductions. We wanted to make sure that we continue every year to put as much in fund balance as we can to address that deficit budget. That is for us to help so we don't impact kids or keep it as far away from kids as possible. We also are trying hard to get to a place that we don't have to short-term borrow. We are short-term borrowing every year, about $1.5 million. So both of those things are addressed as we can continue to fund that balance. Strategic actions that we've used, we've saved on interest and done some things to help save money on borrowing. And we've also really worked hard to get our buses purchased through a strategic plan that allowed us to save quite a bit of money on maintenance. So our district needs over the last 5 years or so have really shifted. We have a special education demographic that runs anywhere from 22 to 25. At the time of the annual meeting, we are a little greater than 23%. So approximately 1 out of every 4 children has an IEP, an individual educational plan, and has a disability. And so that is a demographic that has really shifted around the nation in the past few years, and no different here at Necedah. We are significantly higher than the state average. Our state average last year was 14%, and we were at 23% last year at this time. We have 160 students who have individual educational plans, and we shift or transfer about 1 million plus every year to pay for services that are not funded in the state, which I will address a little later too. We have over 58% of our children are receiving free or reduced meals, and we have elementary classes at 100%. So as kids go through the K-12 system, we traditionally see a decrease as kids get a little older, but we do have elementary classes as high as 100%. And the other demographic I just wanted to share because I think it pronounces the needs of the buses that we have strategically put in place over the last 5 years, and that is our transportation demographic, which includes 115,000 miles plus per year. That was from last year. And we actually last year yet still had some of our extracurriculars that weren't running exactly the way we will be running them this year. So that mileage will actually increase this year. We really are all about preparing our students to learn. That is, of course, what school is all about, but we really want a more individual, personal approach to meeting the needs of every single child. And so we want students to be really engaged, and we want them to feel supported, to feel like they belong and are cared about here in our school. And we call that nurturing a powerful learner. This is a demographic document that kind of shows where funding falls short in the state of Wisconsin, and in particular for Necedah. We spend just under $2,000, just under, per student who is non-disabled to support the unfunded needs of students who are disabled. This is the significant highlight of the budget shortfall we have in special education funding. We are funded at just over 23%, and we're looking at increasing that in terms of advocacy at our board level because we have a significant number of children who need services, and we know that if we can fund special education services, that $2,000 per student is going to benefit all kids. And so we're really going to be advocating about the need to continue to fund special education at a higher level. So this is a significant portion in our district, again, because we have such a high population of children with those needs who are considered having a disability. So the changing needs of our kids really propel us forward into thinking about how do we provide the instruction and the learning environment that meets the needs of every child. And so we're focused on individualization, flexibility, teaching students how to learn, and targeting support and instruction around those children that struggle or have areas of strength that we need to advance them in. We also are really focused on what is the competency or standards that they need to learn, that we really want to understand if they in fact did learn what it is they were intended to learn. And then we are always trying to more heavily engage kids through project or experiential based learning. We think that community partnerships and service learning experiences for children is very important to be able to positively connect them with their larger school community. In 2018, we held our final of several part series of engaging with our community to reshape and reform our vision of excellence. And so we have a strong focus on leadership and learning, and that focus is really making sure there's no limitations that we put in place that limit the child's experience and ability to learn. And lastly, our mission is really about preparing every student for an ever-changing world, and we're trying to think creatively about engagement and how we utilize transformative solutions to meet that child's individual needs. So we're really thinking about creativity and learning about every child, what their needs are, what their interests are, how do we engage them at high levels so learning becomes something that they enjoy and that they're interested in. So my last slide for today is really that one of the things that came out of our community sessions is that engagement is a gap in schools, not just NCETA, but we really want to think about how we engage students at higher levels, because we believe that if we can engage them at higher levels, we empower them to be stronger learners. So that means we're sort of more than the Common Core. We want students to have real world skills, and we define them based on our graduate profile, and then we provide a classroom that again focuses on the needs of every child, engaging them to activate learning, embracing their individual voice and choice, and really personalizing instruction to help them learn and grow from wherever they're at as we work towards those competencies or those standards. And this is our graduate profile that our community helped us develop back in 2018, and this is now a staple in our district that represents, we are about helping to develop a whole child. Every child matters, and citizenship, communication skills, life skills, as well as the academic knowledge they need are all important attributes as we prepare kids for the real world. So that is the context of which we create our budget, and I wanted to share this piece with you today. Next week, I will be sharing more information specifically around some of the priorities we have put in place regarding that budget, but this helps you understand the context of which we're designing a budget to provide this level of learning environment in instructional approaches to meet the needs of every single child in our NCETA area school district. So thank you for joining me today. I hope if you have questions, you're able to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer those. I have posted the annual meeting presentation as well as that annual meeting budget. I have posted that on our website, which you can certainly check out. If you go to the finance page, in the finance department page, you'll be able to pull that information out as well as lots of other information there. So I look forward to joining you next week, again on Thursday at 1:30 to share more information about our budget. Thank you for joining me at this wonderful day in Wisconsin with the sun shining, and I will see you next week here on Facebook Live. I love you guys.